What is going on, everybody? We are the Honolulu Blues podcast. I'm your host, as always, Adam Stark. Got my boys, as usual, Nick and Julius. And I see, Nick, you're already repping the Michigan State. I said, we are going to talk a little Michigan State basketball. As I'm sure most of you know, there was a few, well, not really a few, just one main incident, a couple, swinging, arm punching
A
madness.
suck it went through.
Yeah, how about the whole suck it, man? That was like the little cherry on top of that whole just absolute mess. But boys, what is popping? How have you been? Julius, me and you were kind of on the same page today. So we both had spaghetti, but were you having the full spaghetti noodles beef, or do you just like the pasta sauce and noodles?
I just had to pretty much like the pasta sauce. That's like the main ingredient, really, because my wife make it like with like meat in it, and she got like her own recipe, and it's we call it meat sauce, really. And then just with spaghetti noodles, it's just like
Parmesan on top.
oh yeah, Parmesan. I even sprinkle some like some cayenne red flakes on it. You know, get a little
Little,
kick.
little spice. I put way too much Parmesan cheese on my spaghetti.
Oh
I
yeah,
always
you can't go wrong with it though.
No.
It
There's
dissolves.
no such thing as too
It's
much
the
cheese.
hot spaghetti.
That's right.
Cheese. It's hilarious too, because quick little side tangent. My girlfriend's little brother, he's 8, and he's a total like cheesehead. He loves freaking eating cheese all the time, but he won't put it on anything. And I'm like, dude, you love cheese. You eat string cheese. You eat little like cheese balls, all sorts of cheeses. Put it on, your chips. Put it like he won't eat it on his like tacos or like anything. And I'm like, you like cheese, you like tacos, combine them, and it's gonna taste delicious.
Dude, I tell you what, my daughter, she loves cheese. She loves bread. She hates grilled cheese. Kids got a mind of their own.
I
Dude.
know,
The kids,
yeah.
I don't know, man. They're
Sometimes
crazy.
they just tell themselves, I don't like this.
Yeah.
They don't. You guys probably know that a little more than I do, but not a whole lot going on in Lions news. The biggest thing was Aubrey Pleasant is coming back. His final, I don't know if his like if they just didn't elect to have another interview with him or what, but the Saints are moving forward with other candidates. So Aubrey Pleasant is back with the Lions as a was he our DB coordinator, I believe.
Yeah, I think so. Secondary coordinator.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then
Secondary coach.
I guess we can just hop right into it, because this was kind of like the biggest, Sports Center national news segment the last couple of days, and that's the whole Juwan Howard taking a swing at the Wisconsin head coach. I'm going to try to pronounce his whole last name because it's hard. I don't know, but Julius. Let me get your take on this, because I know me and Nick talked a little bit on Twitter. We went back and forth, but I know you're a Michigan guy. So do you think the 5 games, because I think Michigan may have gotten off a little bit light. Although I feel like the 5 games is enough, I feel like I don't know. As a punch or a swing seems like it could be, a full extra season or Big Ten tourney.
The fact that this was college basketball and not the NBA, I feel like the penalties should have been more severe, because these are student athletes involved, and we're talking about assault. We're talking about, violence that shouldn't even happen, right? And so let me just say this. As a Michigan fan, as a Juwan Howard fan, I understand Juwan Howard, okay? I sympathize with him, because you don't like to lose. And the way things transpired at the end of the game with the refs and the Wisconsin coaches, okay, you get salty, all right? It happens, right? And if I'm Juwan Howard, if I'm feeling that deep pit of saltiness after losing that game, I'm not shaking hands, because I already know that I'm on fire inside. And that's pretty much what happened. He went to the handshake line on fire mentally, and it poured out onto the court, right? And so you just got to be smart, Jawan. You just got to be smart. If you're the head coach of the University of Michigan basketball team, the leaders and the best, there's a standard, man. And you went way below that standard when you threw those punches. So I wouldn't have mind if he got suspended for the rest of the season, even though I'm glad he didn't lose his job. Just got to be smarter about it. And I'm a competitor, and like I get I don't like to lose, and I know myself, so I'm just a quiet when I'm in that state. And anybody else, you already know. So it's just uncalled for. There's no excuse for it. I'm giving no excuse for it. He got 5 games. I would have suspended him for the entire season. You wouldn't have saw him again until next November, whenever the season starts.
Yeah, fair enough. It wasn't, a whole like badass, Shawan Howard moment as like some of the, young kids might want to think. It was almost like a face palm, or even was a face palm for you're just like, come on, Michigan, you can't be not that. Oh, you can maybe a little pushing and shoving and something like that, but swinging, that's a whole different story. So yeah, Julius, I'm right there with you. I wouldn't have been surprised if it would have been the whole Big Ten tourney, the whole rest of this whole season. I was pretty confident he wasn't going to get fired just because it's a whole NCAA's money and whole.
You know what though, Adam? You know what, Adam? It might rally the team if Juwan Howard is as good of a coach as we thought him to be. He can use this. He can turn this into something that could uplift the team instead of just totally put the nail in the coffin, wasted failure of a season that ended with Juwan Howard meltdown. How about you use this to, finish the season strong? We'll see.
I hope so. Nick, some thoughts, I guess, from a Michigan State guy?
Julius really hit the nail on the head with a lot of what he said, in my opinion. Like he, the biggest thing about this, and like, okay, so I'll start out by saying, like, as like a basketball fan and just like someone who likes watching basketball and born and raised with the Detroit Bad Boys, it's the first time I've ever seen a coach like swing at another coach like that. Man, it was like, let's go. Like that's
that Detroit
you're right,
mentality.
Exactly, man. Detroit versus Michigan versus everybody. Julius, like that could really freaking upstart this team and watch him just run the tournament when he comes back. Like run the Big Ten tournament, not the actual tournament, but run the Big Ten tournament and have this like crazy momentum going in. I could see all that. I do think that he just deserves to lose. I do think he just deserves to lose his job. Like I don't think there's any way around it, because what we're doing here is showing like that this is okay, right? Like where's the line? Where's the line? Like you need to connect and like knock someone unconscious for you to lose your job. Just like swinging at someone and connecting to their temple is only delegated to 5 games, especially as Julius alluded to. These are not professional athletes. These are not 22, like 20, 25, 26, 27, 8, 30-year-old guys. These are impressionable kids who a lot of them came from tougher neighborhoods where they've seen this, but you go to this, school and you're, we need to be classy. We're the top of the top. And then you see your coach do this. And I think this could have a ripple effect on just a few kids, even kids just watching the game. They'll see like what happens when you lose. And when you are losing so badly that you get so infuriated that the opponent does a very legal, very okay timeout. And that one timeout, you get so frustrated, even though you're sending 5 full press, right? They got their backups in, kids that are the future of this team, of that program, kids that need confidence. That coach for Wisconsin decided, I don't like what I just called. I don't care how many seconds are left. I'm calling a timeout, and I'm going to adjust my guys to a new play so that they see that there's never a time that we're going to take a second off, myself included, the coach speaking on behalf of the coach. No one ever takes a second off in this team. That's great. Juwan Howard got so mad at that, so mad that he was like, he got so mad he had to say something to the coach. I'll remember that. Well, that coach didn't like that. Then Juwan Howard grabs his shirt. The other guy grabbed his arm, and blah blah blah. The rest is history. All this is so impressionable on 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds that it just is inexcusable. And it would be almost okay if this was his first time. But as I alluded to on Twitter with you, Adam, this is not the first time we've seen this. We've seen him now not swing at another coach, but charge another coach, try to go get into the face of another coach. Like, Bobby Knight threw a chair at someone. That's what we're born and raised with. Well, dude, we're not playing in the 80s and 90s no more. It's just not how you do it anymore. You don't have the Bill Parcells in the NFL. You don't have the Bobby Knights. Tom Izzo's like one of the last freaking, and even he was getting scrutinized last year for grabbing his player's arm. You don't do that. And I didn't defend Tom Izzo at that point. I'm just saying that 5 games is inexcusable for the NCAA, but as Adam said, it's all about the money. Show me the money, honey. And Juwan Howard ain't losing.
Speaking of money, what was silly is they fined him $40,000, which is like, that's pocket change, especially for, a Michigan. I mean, I get you could discard his NBA past, but he's still the head coach of Michigan. So it's like, I think it should have been at least high 5-figure.
But listen, real quick. Don't understate that this could really turn around Michigan's season in a positive way.
Yes.
Martell's
Because
a good coach.
They're at the bottom now. There's nothing to lose. Like they're a disappointment of a team. They started off the season in the top 5. They're unranked, barely on the tournament bubble. What else do you have to lose? If I'm Juwan Howard, I'm telling my players, just go after it. It's y'all versus everybody.
It's like when Michigan's plane almost had to crash land in the river, and they freaking won like 12 games in a row after that. They all were just like, well, we faced death, basically.
Got nothing to lose.
Yeah, we got nothing to lose. Dude, what if we get the Michigan-Wisconsin rematch in the BTT?
That's what
Run it.
That would be so cool.
That would be so fun.
Would be great. All right, let's move forward. Talk a little Detroit Lions. Free agents, not so much Lions free agents, but free agents that could be coming to the Lions. And we are going to start with the wide receivers, but all in all, we're going to be talking about the pass catchers, so wide receivers and tight ends. And if you guys do have some running backs that, are heavy pass catching running backs that you think we should bring in, feel free to bring them up. But I'm just going to go down by guy for some free agent wide receivers. And you guys just give me in or out on them, and we can just go from there. So first off is Chris Godwin. He's coming off an ACL tear. He's had 2 1,100-yard or more seasons. He was having a great season last year, potentially going to be his best, had his most receptions of his career, and then he tore his ACL, I believe, week 13 or week 14, and now Tom Brady leaves. So I'm pretty confident Godwin isn't going to return to Tampa Bay. Maybe he does, but I feel like he's going to go chase the bag somewhere. So, Nick, let's start with you. Chris Godwin, would you be in or out on him?
Chris Godwin, I'm in. I was trying to quickly pull up. I was doing too many things at once, and now I'm going to stammer real quick while I get right back to where I wanted to be, which is right here. So Chris Godwin, I'm in for certain scenarios, but of all the multiverses out there, I feel like the majority I'm in on them. There's some scenarios where I would be like, oh, that's too much money for him. He's gonna what? I mean, what do we think? 20 mil a year?
Yeah,
21 mil? It's probably gonna be like that.
I feel like he's one of the guys where you can't, play the ACL card.
Yeah, exactly. But you'll be thinking about it.
Exactly.
So you're spending 21 mil on a guy and we just saw OBJ re-tear his ACL that he tore a couple years ago in the Super Bowl. So it's fresh on owners' minds and GM's minds, in my opinion.
It was the year ACL tears. I saw a thing. I want to say, I can't remember how many it was. I want to say it was 56 ACL tears this season or something. It was a ridiculous high number. And then also, is Chris Godwin, did he play with Amani O at Penn State? I'm not 100% sure, but I know they're both kind of contracts are similar. They're both in their 4th, 5th-ish year.
I don't know. But I do want to keep saying real quick about Chris Godwin that he's also 25. He'll be 26, right? I believe at the beginning of the year. That's huge.
Yeah, he just turned, or no. He will be 26 in a few days, actually. He had 5 days.
Oh, in 5. Okay, yeah. So he'll be 26.
So yeah,
so young. That is an investment in your money. Give him the house. Give him 21 mil, 5 years. Almost don't even have to worry about drafting receiver in the top 3 picks now. Try to pull another Amon-Ra St. Brown. maybe re-sign a younger guy, or just see if Quintez Cephas is ready to take that second role. Maybe, in my opinion, we'll talk probably about him, but maybe re-sign Josh Reynolds to a cheaper deal. Get him, Amon-Ra, and Chris Godwin running. The big thing is that Chris Godwin plays in the slot, and so does Amon-Ra, so that's kind of like the big, you're spending a lot of money for a position you really already have. But whatever, I think Chris Godwin's good enough. Put him on the side. He'll be just fine.
Julius, Chris Godwin, what do you think about him?
Spot Track lists his current market value at $18.1 million per season. And if we're talking multi-year, 3-4 year deal for the Detroit Lions, Chris Godwin, the route running technician he is, you're exactly right. He is Amon-Ra St. Brown just, like 3 years later. Okay. So we have two Amon-Ra St. Browns. Is that a bad thing? No. And there's been talk of drafting a guy that fits the mold of Amon-Ra St. Brown, like that comes to mind real quick. There's so many receivers. I'm not even gonna go there. This is not a draft episode, okay? This is a free agent episode, but go ahead.
Sorry, I cut you off, Julius.
No, go ahead. You got a guy that comes
they did play. Amanio and Chris Godwin did play 2 seasons together at Penn State. So
that's how young Chris Godwin is. That he played with Amanio, who has not even reached his first contract year yet. Anyway,
Chris Godwin just seems older than he is. He's just been so good for so long in the NFL. You're like, dang, he's only.
His rookie season, I believe, is when he really he didn't break out, but he popped off his rookie season. That's when like, oh, this guy Chris Godwin.
Yeah, rookie season
in the second round.
Rookie season, 34 catches, 525 yards, and 1 touchdown. And then that next year is when he kind of showed some improvement. He drastically, improved. He had 525 his first year, 842 his second year, and then 1,300 his third year with 9 touchdowns. So
definitely the ACL, real quick. The ACL though, like I'm not gonna lie, that does worry me. Do I want to pay $18 million a year to a guy who might lose a step? I mean, it's not guaranteed he gets it all back. It depends on the player. We've seen it before. We can make arguments. We can does anybody have the inside track on his recovery? Do the Lions have the inside track on the source of his recovery? These are things we need to talk about when it's a player coming off injury like that.
Well, unfortunately, Chris Godwin wasn't the only wide receiver to tear his ACL. There was another one, Michael Gallup. He tore his ACL pretty much like the same time as Godwin. It was either like a week before, a week after, right at the end of the season. Both were having good seasons, kind of playing some of their best ball. Godwin had 35 catches, 4 to 45 yards in 8 games, and 3 touchdowns. So he was doing good. And then obviously the ACL tear and that ended the season. So the Cowboys did initially, they said they didn't want to bring Gallup back, and then he had a solid season, tore his ACL, and now they're kind of talking about they want to bring him back. So I don't know if Gallup will want to be back with Amari and CD. I mean, maybe they cut Amari because that's a possibility too, which would be crazy. But I could see it happening. Michael Gallup's 25. He's still young. He's like Chris Godwin. They're right around the same age, same pretty close birthdays too. But Julius, let's start with you first. Michael Gallup
Also coming off a major injury. Yep. Like I remember midway through the season, I was a yes on both Chris Godwin and Michael Gallup. I was already thinking about both of them as being free agent ads, but the ACL does give those major injuries does give me pause. Michael Gallup he's a big play receiver, kind of buried on the depth chart in Dallas, but he made the most of his opportunities, even though from his second to his third season, he kind of dropped off in play a little bit. That could have been an arrival of CeeDee Lamb. I'm not sure, but do I want to pay him what Spot Track has him at, which is about $12.5 million a season? No, but I'll take $10 million. I'll give him a 1 year, $10 million deal to come in and be our, because we got some dogs on our depth chart. And I'm sure we're going to draft some guys. I'm not ready to anoint Michael Gallup this big time contract with the Lions to be our number 1 receiver, which is what we really need. So right now, I would say I'm on the fence with it, closer to no than yes.
Yeah, I think the Lions are definitely in more need of like top tier wide receivers and like almost below mediocre, below average wide receivers that can be dogs that can beat out Trinity Benson on our roster. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of so Michael Gallup falls right in the middle of that. And he's a guy that has decreased in everything, right? 3 years in the NFL goes from 6 touchdowns to 5 to 2, 16 yards per reception to 14 to 12, 1,100 yards to 800 to 400. You know what I mean? 112 targets to 105 to 62. Every single games played 14, 16. He went up in his second year, and still everything went down year 1, year 2, year 3. Yeah, sure, they added in CD Lamb. It just Michael Gallup doesn't give you enough. He shows flashes. He shows that he will make some solid plays, catch probably 600, 700 yards for his next team. But he's not going to be anything more than a wide receiver 2, maybe he'll be like wide receiver 1 for the Raiders. And even still, he'll only catch about 700 yards because lined up on double team, Gallup isn't anything. He's just not. So
Yeah.
I don't like him.
You make a great point there, Nick, on saying he's right in between. He's not, the Lions are looking for guys that are below Amon-Ra or way above him. And he's right on there. And so this, I love Gallup. I've been big on him, and I still would like him. But I wouldn't be surprised if it came to where Amon-Ra was getting double teamed, and it was Gallup was that 2 where we want Amon-Ra to be that 2 to take advantage of the cornerback 2. And it's just, cornerbacks and defenses would have an easier time knowing that they don't really have to double either if they don't want to.
Yeah. Well, what's the most you'd pay Michael Gallup to come?
I would probably say like a 10, 11 around there.
Man, you guys are both higher than me. I don't think I'd go over like 8 million for him. And it would be, but I'd give him like 2 or 3 years because he is so young. I'd give him 2, 3 for like 8 million a year. And I would take a little gamble on him at that point, but that's about it.
All right. Another wide receiver we got, he didn't tear his ACL, but he broke his foot or maybe ankle. Foot, ankle, whatever you want to call it.
I'm sorry,
DJ Chark. This one hasn't been brought up a whole lot for Lions free agency. At least I haven't seen. But DJ Chark is a guy coming off of he had a solid season, and then it was very like Michael Gallup's, where he had that 1,000-yard season where we thought, okay, he's going to turn the corner. And then that next year he didn't do much, and then that following year he got injured. So it's interesting to see what we could get out of it if he did come to Detroit. I think he would be a great red zone threat. He had a few great catches when he was playing for Jacksonville. I know he was making highlights. I saw a few of his Sports Center top 10 plays. But all in all, he's still 25 years old. I think he would be a solid addition. If we could get him at the right price and, maybe show him that we want to, be all in on him and give him the opportunity, I think we might be able to find a little diamond in the rough, because I still think Chark is not a lot of people know if he could be a superstar or if he's just going to be an average type guy. So back to you. We'll go back to Nick.
Bring it on back, man. This is another guy who's literally decreased in every single stat. I'm not going to go list him off, but this is literally every single thing he's ever done in the NFL has just decreased year after year after year. There's a little bit more to him, though, because he had crazy coaching carousel. New rookie quarterback. He had the injury. I'll stick up for him a little bit more than I will Michael Gallup, because I've seen more from DJ Chark than I have Michael Gallup. This is a guy that I would like. Market value via Spot Track is sitting at $12 million. That's pricey.
That is pricey.
Spicy. That's a spicy meatball, as you spaghetti boys would say. That's a spicy meatball. I'm just I'm not. I love him. I really want him. He's like top 3 on my list. I really, 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 really would not mind DJ Chark, but I could not pay that much money. I couldn't do it. If he wants to take 10 mil for like 4 years, I would go for it. He's a little bit older, but I do like him a lot. I'm a little biased because I saw him at a Senior Bowl, my very first Senior Bowl I ever went to, so I still root for him. Maybe I shouldn't, but I love him. But he's right in the middle. I couldn't do it for $12 million. I'd be out.
That's where I'm at. 12's too much, but I feel like 10 would be enough, because I think Chark's just a step above Gallup. Julius,
I don't know, man. I looked at he has a lot of limitations. Like, let's not act like this dude just a Pro Bowl. Like he has limitations. He couldn't get open. I think he had one of the lowest open rates. He catches a lot of contested balls thanks to his size. Adam, you mentioned the red zone. I'm not willing to pay nine plus million a year for a red zone target receiver because we already have Josh Reynolds. Okay, and we already have Quintez Cephas.
Well, Josh Reynolds could be gone. He's
it's possible, but like, what's the fall
and
off?
Khalif Raymond.
Yeah, what's the fall off? I mean, I give DJ Shark $6 million a year, and I honestly, it a lot of things depends. And Devontae Adams is the clear cut number one. I know we're going to talk about him, but he's the clear cut, guy that I would just go like 12 million plus to in this whole receiver class. Chris Godwin and Mike Williams are discussions. Everybody else, Odell Beckham, Michael Gallup, Allen Robinson, DJ Shark, all the way down. It's all question marks on how much, because I don't want Brad Holmes wasting money like Bob Quinn did.
Yeah.
Bob Quinn had a lot of wasted, he was trying to buy wins, and that's not how you're going to build a winner in Detroit. You're going to draft a winner. So the free agency is going to come secondary. But I mean, if you want to go for a guy like Devontae, go right ahead. But don't waste money. Don't give DJ Shark $13 million a year.
I agree on that too, because we've seen Brad Holmes kind of miss on free agent wide receivers and Tyrell and Perriman and even the trades of Benson and we didn't trade for Hodge, but we still went out and grabbed him. But those were all swing and misses. And then granted, he did, hit a grand slam with Amon-Ra, but maybe he just has the eye for the draft and once the players get in the NFL, he just isn't the best at seeing that type of talent.
So I've also said that, Adam, so many times, but I'm starting to come to this realization that he signed those guys. I don't know about the Trinity Benson or Kader Hodge, but he signed those two guys just to put out on the field to like complete the tank that we did. So I do still have faith in his free agent wide receiver. I won't let 1 year take me down, but you're right. He's on high alert. He's on thin ice. You know what I mean? DJ Shark, 61st in the NFL in target separation, averaging 1.6 yards of separation. So he sucks when it comes to separation. I don't know what to tell you. Like, it's not good. And I think Goff needs separation. He needs explosive route runners. That's why like Jahan Dotson would be and Drake London both will be really good if we could get either of those, in my opinion. Really good.
Yeah, absolutely. All right.
Let's draft it.
Let's talk a wide receiver who did not get injured this year. Well, actually did get injured. He was kind of, but not
we were so close.
A season-ending injury.
So close.
But that's Allen Robinson. And A-Rob.
Are you sure he didn't have a season-ending injury? I had him on my fantasy team, and I'm pretty sure he was injured all season. Like, at least it seemed like it on my roster.
Yeah, it definitely did seem like it. Yes, I had Allen Robinson a few leagues too. Oh,
swing and a miss with him.
I took A-Rob and Justin Fields in like 4 different drafts.
One of my top teams, I was running the first 8 weeks with Allen Robinson and Robert Woods, who both were just putting up poop numbers. Elijah Moore saved the day, but anyways.
Never draft Bears players in fantasy unless they're Walter Payton.
I don't know. Let's quickly stay on fantasy. Darnell Mooney could be like a real sneaky, like top 20 wide receiver this year, depending on where he gets drafted.
It's going to hurt so much, but I'm going to be drafting Justin Fields everywhere because I have a theory of running quarterbacks that don't have a lot of film on them exceed like insanely their first year-ish. So if there's only 4 to 6 games on them of that first season, then they come in the second season, they're the starter, like Justin Fields, like there's tons of guys. But that's my theory. And
I love it.
As much as I don't like Fields and want him to fail, I think he could be a solid fantasy option.
Are you still in on Jalen Hurts next year for fantasy right now?
As long as he's running, man.
I love that.
But back to A-Rob. Right. He has shown big potential in the past. And pulling up stats here, he has had 3 seasons over 1,100 yards, 2 over 1,200, and 1,400 season his second year. And it seemed like A-Rob was going to be a superstar Devontae Adams, DeAndre Hopkins type guy. But unfortunately, he was paired up with Blake Bortles, then went to Chicago and was with Matt Nagy and Andy Dalton and Mitch Trubisky and all that mess, and just hasn't really had a solid quarterback. And even though Jared Goff isn't the best quarterback, I still think he's an upgrade from Bortles, a rookie Justin Fields, kind of a rookie Mitch Trubisky, and Andy Dalton and the rest of the mess. So Allen Robinson would be an interesting player to bring back. He does have some Michigan ties in which he went to high school at St. Mary's. So it would be cool to bring him back here. I'm sure he would be popping in at tons of the St. Mary's games and the Catholic League games. So Julius, back to you. Allen Robinson. Is he too old for you?
No, he's not too old. He might be too expensive. However, out of all the receivers in the free agent class, he's the one I'm most intrigued by because he could very well – we can get a number one receiver at a discount if he still has some juice for a few years. And I feel like he matches well with Campbell, and I feel like he's a Detroiter, which helps. And, you know, there's Spot Track got him at 4 years, $16 million range. Can I get 3 years? You know, can I get 3 years, $13 million out of Allen Robinson? You know, and then I'd be more with it. I'd be more with it. He does have an injury history. Let's not forget that. He's getting up there in age. He also doesn't have the best separation, but that's never stopped him.
Let me just jump in real quick about separation. We said DJ Shark was 61st in the league. Allen Robinson is fourth best in the league when it comes to average cushion pre-snap, meaning he gets 5.5 yards of cushion pre-snap on an average of every play. He is 113th in the NFL in target separation. That's like the most unbelievable thing I've ever seen right now. Like, they're giving him so much cushion, and he's still like less than a yard away. They're still like last year. Terrible. So that attests to Allen Robinson's strengths, which is if you play him on the line, he's going to destroy you. He has one of the best releases off the line. He's tough as nails to stick with. But that's why they stay 5 to 10 yards off of him, and then once he runs his route, they stick him, but he still catches it because, like I said, he's strong. Mm-hmm. But I don't know if that's what Jared Goff needs. I don't know if that's what Allen Robinson needs. And for $16 million a year, I'm going a slight no. But I am very intrigued if we can get him on a slight discount. Yeah.
He would be one of the – I wish we could do some sort of like 13 and then a massive incentive bonus to where he could earn 15, 16. And if he could show us that he's still got that – potential of 1,400 yards, that I'm okay with paying that much.
I am in on him with a prove it contract, meaning I will pay upwards to $18 million for him to come be our wide receiver 1 2022. 1 year. You get 1 year, but I'll give you upwards of $18 to $19 million to come do it. And if things work out, I want a hometown discount when we have to come sign you back. But we can't give you that much money off of what we just saw. And we like to hope that it was just, the shitty play calling of Matt Nagy, the horrible passing of Justin Fields and Andy Dalton, and that whole team just, dismantling before everyone's eyes. And we like to believe that that was the case. We also know that Justin Fields had the Stafford to Cup connection with Darnell Mooney, and Allen Robinson was left on an island. He was left to be a decoy on damn near every single play. Draw 2 people and just be a decoy. That's why I'm okay with him. I don't think what we saw last year is what we would see in the next 2 to 3 to 4 years of Allen Robinson. However, when he hits that 31, 32 year, which is 3-4 years away, that's when things are going to hit a strong decline. He has been through so much. He has been targeted so much. Like, you think of running backs who run all the time for years and years and years. Just injury catches up with him. Father time catches up. Allen Robinson has been doing this for a long time on really crappy teams with a lot of volume and taking a lot of hard hits and double coverages. And he balls. He's Detroit strong, and that's cool. And so I want to bet, but I don't want to bet maybe 2. We can get down to like 17, 8, 16, 17 for 2. But I like the 1 year, 18.5 million. Come be our wide receiver 1. Be a decoy if you have to. Tell us everything about Chicago. Tell me what I need to know about those cornerbacks. And let's rock and roll.
All right, you convinced me, Nick. Dang it, you've convinced me. I'll give Allen Robinson 1 year, 18 million. Come back, D boy.
Better yet, let's do a 2-year prove-it deal. First year, he gets a lot of guaranteed money. We're like, look, we can guarantee you this money, but we're paying other guys golf. And once he's off our books, we'll pay you the boatload. Next year.
Yeah, like a team option, but with a huge second. Oh, I'm all right with that. I'm all right with that. See, that's the clever way I want to get to him. But he is top up there. He should be targeted for sure.
100%. All right. Next man up, we have Christian Kirk. He kind of had a breakout season in which it seemed like this dude was left for dead, as in the Cardinals went out, signed AJ Green, and then they went out and drafted Rondale Moore, a speedster like himself. So we all thought, even myself as a fantasy analyst, I thought Christian Kirk was going to be a nobody, terrible pick. Don't even roster him. But this dude actually produced in quite a few games. He had 77 catches for 982 yards and 5 touchdowns. He still hasn't hit that 1,000-yard mark, but I believe he's going to hit it next year wherever he's at. He was right on the cusp of this year and has had 6 touchdowns and 5 touchdowns in his last 2 seasons. So he's got a nose for the end zone. And not to mention, Christian Kirk is still pretty young. He's 25 years old. I believe he's still in that Michael Gallup, Chris Godwin age range. And although he might not have the ceiling of those guys, I think he would be an interesting pair with Amon-Ra, in which they're both like speed demons, flashy over the middle type guys. And I think it would be fun to watch if we got Christian Kirk and then drafted like a big guy like Drake London or something with that 32nd pick. So I don't remember who we left off on. So Nick, take it away.
I don't know, man. Like, he's more like Chris Godwin's a slot wide receiver, but I can put him at the extra Y and be fine as long as we have a. I don't think I'm comfortable with Christian Kirk playing our Y wide receiver. Like, I want St. Brown right there in that middle, and I want a very tall guy as X, and I don't want Christian Kirk there. I am intrigued by him. I do like him, but dude's 5'9". He's a slot receiver. He's gonna shine in probably Tampa Bay, where in Chris Godwin's spot. That's my guess. With Jimmy Garoppolo at quarterback there. Like, that's what I think Tampa's gonna end up doing. I'm okay with them not coming to Detroit. He's a pass for me. Do we have a market value on him? I didn't even look. It depends. Like, I mean, if he wants to give us like $5 million, sure, come on down. But his market value, I bet he's gonna be like more around like 10. So I'm not buying him. I'm selling him.
Pulling it up here. Julius, give me some of your thoughts on Christian Kirk. All right, 11.8, which Nick.
Yeah, I'll take DJ Shark.
See, yeah. No, I don't like that. I will say Tim Patrick just got 11 million, which might mess some things up.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, I mean, realistically, these guys are going to get that money, but I don't think the Lions need to be paying these guys
exactly. I don't think we need to be the ones doing it. Right. And especially with this draft where it seems like, it's tons of wide receivers are in there. We just saw Brad Holmes.
Yeah, we have no reason to
diamond with a 4th rounder. So
exactly, yeah.
If we don't get, I think this for all our free agent wide receivers. If we don't get a solid deal, then just pass and pay up next year and try to hit a diamond in the draft.
Unless it's like a wide receiver 1, unless it's a guy who could literally take the top. Devontae Adams, I'll pay that dude $32 million to come here. That's fine with me. You know what I mean? But yeah, Julius Kirk. Wait, not Christian Kirk. Who are we talking about?
Christian Kirk. We're talking about Christian Kirk.
Yeah, okay.
Christian Kirk, 11.8 million market value right now. No, we have Khalif Raymond. Okay, and if you don't
we'd have to
if you don't want Khalif Raymond, Brad Holmes, I would not recommend replacing him by overpaying Christian Kirk. Now, if you want to give Christian Kirk a 1-year prove it deal on a little cheaper side of things, let's say 1 year 7 or 8, maybe. But I just don't think he fits with the plans right now. You know what I'm saying? And we don't need to go all the way into left field to nab him like we're Bob Quinn, the smartest guy in the room. Let's just stick to the plan. Stick to the plan.
Yeah.
Keep
I'm
it
a no.
simple.
I'm a no on Christian Kirk. I'm a no.
All right. Fair enough. Let's move on to our next guy. Who this one's interesting. This guy is like a Christian Kirk. Christian Kirk light / injured all the time. Christian Kirk, and that's Will Fuller. And this dude was mind-boggling last year. He had a finger injury like week 2 or week 3 or something, and then we never heard of him again. It was like his finger just like evaporated or fell off or something. But he is going to be a free agent. I don't expect him to demand a lot, if like any money, as in he can't really. He didn't play all last season hardly, and he hasn't really had a big breakout season, but we have seen that he could have these big games. I want to say he did have one game with Deshaun Watson. It was like a 3 touchdown, like 200-ish yard game. It was a big game, but we've seen the ceiling and I guess floor of Will Fuller. So would you guys be okay with doing another 1-year deal with him? Because that's probably what he's going to be looking for. Just gamble on Will Fuller. So Julius, let's hear you first.
For 1 year, $6 million, yes, I'll do it. 1 year, $5 million, yes, I'll do it. That's it. That's it, though. That's it. He's too injury prone. I'm not about to waste money on this guy. Okay, so, and I'm sure every team in the league is thinking the same thing. So he's going to have to go somewhere where he's going to have opportunity, and he's going to have to prove himself. But he is fast at full speed on a streak route. He is hard to cover if he's on the field. 1 year, $6 million. Yes.
Yeah, Will Fuller is like he's a 1-year deal is even a 2-year deal. I'm okay with both of those. But I wouldn't go over $6 million because you got to think he's only playing 11 games, 10 games, 11 games at most. That's what's going to happen, unfortunately. But he can take the top off. He can really help open up holes for Amon-Ra St. Brown. If we start to use him more as a decoy and less actually getting the ball to him, it really could help out the rest of the team, honestly. But you're not going to pay, like his last contract's at $10 million. I bet this one's around $9 to $11 million. I'm not paying that.
I think it'll drop down. I'd say like 8 to 9. Because I mean, I will say that the cap did go up, so that could change some things. And I would expect him to wait and kind of gauge his interest. There is no really market cap on him right now for Spot Track, as it kind of makes sense because he skipped the whole season. There's not a whole lot of guys you can compare him with. But yeah, if we could get him cheap, I would definitely be interested. Moving on, Mike Williams. This was a guy who has had a rough first 2 seasons, but has finally got it together, in which his last 3 seasons, he's played 15 games, 11 games, and 14 games, which 11 games isn't the best, but 15 and 14 is solid. So Mike Williams, boys, he posted a 9 touchdown season and a 10 touchdown season. He has that big body, end zone potential. We saw it with the Chargers and Justin Herbert. I think he would be a solid comp for just this whole offense. The problem is, I think he's going to demand big money. And we already did see this come out, in which he said I don't know if he said it, but I saw an NBC Sports report saying he's going to be looking for wide receiver 1 money. So, Nick, would you be okay with taking a gamble on Mike Williams? Because this guy is a guy that could become a wide receiver 1 if he stays healthy and stays the course.
What is wide receiver 1 money? Does anyone know what the top wide receivers are getting paid right now?
It's like 15 to like,
no,
I'd say 14.
Danny Galladay got like 18 last year, didn't he?
I believe DeAndre Hopkins is at 22.
22, yeah, 23. Yeah. Okay, hell no, I wouldn't pay him that. That's crazy. But dude's good. Like, this is another guy who, and now he's been a wide receiver 2. And you don't know what he's really going to be as wide receiver 1 because Keenan Allen's always been there. But when I put up hi Mary, when we put up a tweet earlier, there was they came from, like, I don't know what the saying is. They came from the Groves, I don't know, whatever. They came from everywhere to say that dude is super injury prone. And I was going to come out and you said it exactly, Adam. You guys missed 2 games in the last 4 years. Like, what I don't know. What it comes down to, like, something like 5 games in the last 4 years is really not that much. He is contested catch machine. He is deep ball machine. A lot of people, Justin Herbert made him. Justin Herbert made 1,000 yards because of Justin Herbert. He had 1,000 yards before Justin Herbert even got there. He's not bad. And if he goes by his spot track market value, which is like $16 million for 3 or 4 years, I'm okay with taking the gamble on him. It's not like my top choice. It really isn't. But I think him connected with another high-end wide receiver in the end of the first or the early second, along with Amon-Ra St. Brown, dude, our wide receiver corps could look better than what the Rams did going to the Super Bowl. It really honestly could. Like, and with our offensive line and our running backs, if you had Mike Williams and another wide receiver who can become a number 1 wide receiver like Drake London, along with Amon-Ra St. Brown, who's already a number 1 receiver, and Mike Williams, who is now trying to be a number 1 wide receiver, those could be 3 amazing, amazing wide receivers. Even for Jared Goff couldn't mess up. Like, we could go out there and win some games with those boys. So I like Mike Williams. I'm not paying $22 million for him, but I am paying $16 to $17 million for him for 3 years, 4 years.
That's what he's at on Spot Track, $16.7 million right now. For me, that's tough. I don't think I would be, like, mad at it, but I wouldn't be thrilled with it. So, Julius, what are you thinking about Mike Williams?
I'm thinking that he could be a diamond in the rough, but I'm also thinking that somebody's going to pay $18 and $19 million for him, and the Lions will not. Although, if he is on our team, he could very well be our number 1 wide receiver that we are looking for. And like it's almost a perfect out of all the receivers. I mean, of course, Devontae Adams. He's like, that's the guy we might end up paying $21 million to a year.
I'll pay that dude more than 21.
Yeah. I was just about to say, like, I'm sure every Lions fan out there is okay with that. If we got breaking news that he was signing with the Lions, on March 8th or whatever it is, we have an emergency episode. And
oh yeah, we do. Oh my god, I'm doing it in my birthday suit too.
Packer fans would be devastated, and life would be great. I just don't know how likely that is to happen. Mike Williams is a little more likely. I just hope we don't overpay him, because he does come with a risk. He's not a sure thing like Devontae Adams.
What did Kenny get?
Chris Godwin. What
did Kenny get last year?
Kenny got $18 million a year from the Giants.
I think that's where Mike Williams is going to go. Yeah, and I think that isn't overpay. But I do think Mike Williams, wherever he goes, is tenfold better than what Kenny Golladay is with the Giants. Like, he is a way better wide receiver, but that's where the market's going to be for him, I think. 18 to 19. Especially with the cap going up. You might even get to 20. You really might.
I agree. He gets more separation than Golladay does. Then we're talking about separation with all these guys. Mike Williams, I don't have the stats at hand, but you can go look them up, Nick. I guarantee for the large receiver that he gets way more separation than who have we brought up already?
DJ Shark's better separation than him.
Really?
Ranks 92nd in the league.
We're gonna edit that out. What I said. I guess he's just a heck of a contested catch.
Heck of a contested catch rate.
There's so many of those guys though.
17th in the NFL in contested catch rate.
Jared Goff.
That's very good.
Jared Goff is gonna need separation.
And Jared Goff also just throws into contested. Like, he's bad. He's just not that good. So, like, you need someone who can jump up. That's why I like him and Allen Robinson as our wide receiver 1s, because they'll catch the ball, man, if it's thrown anywhere. Like, they can catch the ball. Those boys can catch. You know what I mean? So
that's true.
Also, I forgot to mention this before the show. Not breaking news, but news. The USFL Michigan Panthers, with the first overall draft pick in the USFL New Football League, drafted former Michigan quarterback Shea Patterson.
For real?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that. Let's go
He was-
Panthers. Come
He
on,
was
Michigan.
good. Yeah, he was drafted to the Michigan Panthers with the first overall pick. So
Go
Dude, I was-
Panthers! Go
Yeah,
Panthers!
let's go Panthers. I was super bummed to find out they were doing all this in a bubble and they're not actually going to be playing in Michigan. I was geeked to
It's
go
all
watch.
like
oh,
them.
really? I
Birmingham.
didn't know that.
Yeah,
all
Oh,
this-
that
Birmingham.
stings.
it's out. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's in Bama. Yeah.
Boo.
Yeah.
All right. Back to
But
wide
still,
receiver,
I'm buying
Joe.
a Michigan Panthers jersey. Don't worry, boys. I'm doing that. Probably a Shea Patterson one, actually.
Hey, that would be kind of depending. They're kind of like a blue and red, aren't they?
Yeah, they're not the greatest colors, but I don't care.
Yeah.
Maybe a jersey. Maybe not jersey, but
We'll get some sort of Michigan Panthers.
I'll get
apparel.
it back here. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But there was plenty of other wide receivers that are available for free agency. But I'm just going to list off a few. If any of them stick out to you guys, just jump at them, bring them up after. But Sammy Watkins, free agent. Cedric Wilson, free agent. Josh Reynolds, our boy, free agent. Hopefully we can bring him back. He's one guy who I would like. Jacoby Myers, that one's an interesting one. Not a big touchdown guy. He had like one touchdown and like 5,000 catches or attempts or whatever, but interesting player. He seems like he was kind of slowed down by a heavy run scheme in New England. So Jacoby Myers, it's an interesting one. Byron Pringle, that one's kind of interesting. Has just been playing behind Tyreek Hill forever, so maybe he's picked up a few tricks. Zay Jones, he's seemed like a bust, then kind of got some juice back in Las Vegas, and seems like he could be, a decent guy. James Washington, and then to top it all off, Juju Smith-Schuster. So not really a guy that fits with these guys, but still another free agent wide receiver we could go out and get. But the guys that I just mentioned are the guys that are like would be the number 3, maybe the number 4 on our team, but kind of like the compliments.
You like? There's a few I like a lot. I'm definitely out on Juju Smith-Schuster, but Khalif Raymond, market value at $3 million. Dude, let's bring him back. He was awesome. It's a great pairing. Josh Reynolds really helped out when he came to our team. We went like 3-3-1 when he came here. Like, that's amazing. So let's do that. Jacoby Myers seems like a Dan Campbell type of receiver. I love him. I love his work ethic. I don't care about the touchdowns. I care about the player. So he would be really good for me, really good to me. And there was one more guy that I can't remember, but those are like my top 3
Sammy
guys.
Watkins?
No, definitely not Sammy Watkins. Oh, no, I'm sorry. There's a guy that you didn't bring up. 24-year-old Jalen Guyton, also a free agent, could be a very good sign. Takes the top off the ceiling.
Julius, you got any guys that stuck out to you?
It's a long list. It's a very deep free agent class this year. So, we could see a number of guys, when I look at I wouldn't be against re-signing Raymond or Reynolds or both.
All right, now Julius, let me throw you this. What about we pass on wide receiver of the draft, basically. We go out, we pay up Dalton Schultz or another tight end. Would you guys be opposed to run a tight end set?
Adam. You stole it from my Twitter because
That's why I bring it up, man. That's why I bring it up.
I done tweeted about Dalton Schultz like 4 times in the last week because it's possible that him and just thinking Dan Campbell, tight end guy, say he wanna give TJ Hockenson, Dalton Schultz, and just come out in some funky 2 tight end, 3 tight end. Not even power sets. Just you could work with anything around Dalton. Dalton Schultz showed he can ball with Dallas this year, and honestly, I'll give Dalton Schultz $7 million to come be our tight end too.
And the crazy part is, it's not the most unrealistic thing. As in,
and he could block.
The
He's
Cowboys,
a top 5 blocker at tight end in the NFL.
Yeah, and the Cowboys, if they want to,
you're
keep
too
Gallup,
low on. Yeah, you're too low. Dalton Schultz market value right now $12.6 million. He ain't coming for $7 million. However, for $11 million, you can get a better pass catching wide receiver out of South Beach, Miami. Mike Gesicki hitting the market would be an amazing sign. His catchability is not if we want to pay him like $13 million to come run this 2 tight end set like the Patriots did. You just get Hawk and Gesicki, 2 amazing catching, probably like 2 of the top 5 or 6 catching tight ends, along with the Monroe St. Brown. Our linebackers and safeties would be running into each other. They wouldn't know what to do. They wouldn't know what hit them, dude. I don't care. We'll put Josh Reynolds and Quintez Cephas on the outside, and let's run Jasicki, Hawkinson, and St. Brown up the middle. And golly gee, we'd be freaking fierce, I tell you what. But no, you're not getting Schultz for $7 million.
But
try again.
We could, hey, if we want to pay up and the Cowboys are just like, look, we're going to be paying CD soon. We have to pay Dak all this money. We're still paying Zeke, and we want to keep Gallup, but we already signed Blake Jarwin. So do we really want to keep Dalton Schultz and Blake Jarwin, or do we want to keep Michael Gallup, Blake Jarwin? So I wouldn't be surprised if they just kind of let Dalton Schultz walk, continue their contract, Blake Jarwin, because for those that don't know, Jarwin was the starter. He was the guy. And then he went down like week 1 with an ACL tear. Last year, Dalton Schultz comes in, has a solid season. And then this year, I don't even know if Jarwin got injured. He was a little bit injured, but Schultz just took off and he commanded that tight end 1 spot. So I don't know what the Cowboys will be thinking, but it would be interesting.
I'm all right with it. I mean, I Dalton Schultz, maybe not so. I mean, I do like Dalton Schultz. I really do like him, but I think Gesicki's better.
Okay, all right. What about a little bit cheaper? I'm trying to find his market cap. Where is he? David Njoku. This would be an interesting one. No?
Pass.
I think...
Easy pass. He stinks. No work ethic. Get him off my team.
Oh, come on.
Dude. Friggin' Harrison Bryant's a better tight end in Cleveland than David Njoku, man. That's why they brought in Austin Hooper, man, because Njoku's just bad. He's bad, bro. Ugh.
All right.
Don't want him. I'll pass.
OJ Howard.
Now we're talking business, brother. Dan Campbell will get the most out of this dude. He would be we wouldn't have to run as many 2 tight end sets. I wouldn't want him to be like a really solid backup tight end. OJ Howard is a phenomenal idea. 27 years old, still could be coming into some of his prime. Has been could have broke out at Tampa Bay, but Gronk just came in with Tom Brady, and there was nothing that OJ Howard could do. He was just on a contract, so he just played his part, won a ring, but he's leaving unless they really do bring him back because Gronk. But Tampa Bay's in some kind of flux. They don't know what's going on over there. So
guess what his market cap is?
I'm gonna guess 6.5.
2.2.
Ring him up. I'll sign him for 3, bro. I'll give him a little extra just because of his name.
Hell, we could cut Will Harris and pay him.
Yeah,
actually,
that's fair. That's fair. We could do that. Who needs safeties in the NFL anymore? Yeah, I like OJ Howard.
All right. And then I'll bring up one more tight end. Evan Ingram. This one's an interesting one. A similar type guy to OJ Howard, but just didn't have the right coaching, quarterback, whatever around him. Was overshadowed by OBJ and then Saquon, and was never really the guy he was supposed to be. So we have seen the talent in him. He has had 1 6-touchdown season, 2 seasons of over 60+ catches. So he could get it done. But Nick, you open to bring in Evan Ingram?
What's his market value? I was just about to pick it up. Let's see. I got it right here. It is 6.7 million. Yeah. If he wants to come over here first, I'll give him 6.5 max. That's the most I'll give him. I'll give him 7. I'll give him 7 million to come be our backup tight end. That is very okay. We need to have backup tight end. I really, really, really like who's the undrafted tight end that really stepped up this year, especially
Brock
at the end. Oh, Brock Wright. Thank you. I like him a lot, and he showed guts. He showed glory. Him and Jared Goff were on some kind of connection, some crazy throws where he was making he was catching it behind his back with double defenders. He showed a lot of promise. However, I still am okay with bringing another tight end and paying upwards of 7 million if it's a guy like Evan Ingram. I don't love him, but to be my backup tight end, hey, I'm okay with that.
Julius, any quick final thoughts on Evan Ingram?
Evan Ingram, more or less a disappointment in New York. I give him $4 million. See what he can do. He does have some straight line versatility against linebackers that's been shown, but I don't know if I want to give him $7 million. Honestly, I'd rather pay up for Dalton Schultz.
That's not too much more for him. You know what I mean? That's not the worst thing. And also for anyone who's listening, thinking why are we talking about tight ends? Let's think about it. Dan Campbell, tight end coach, head coach, offensive coordinator, Ben Johnson, tight end coach, offensive coordinator. You know what I mean? we're built by a freaking
Tight
tight
on you,
ends.
baby.
We're tight on you. Yeah, exactly. So we're bringing in another tight end. I can guarantee you. Be ready for us to pay up for one or draft one early, like early, second round maybe. Trey McBride.
Yeah, and all right, I think that's gonna conclude the show for today. But one thing I did mention earlier that I should have, the boys, Honolulu Blue Pod, are going on Woodward Sports tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. So if you're watching this live, you're likely only the ones hearing it because it'll be posted around the same time we'll be going live. So if you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, you could check us out on that Woodward Sports app, or I'm sure you could find it. I'm sure we'll be tweeting about it, all that good stuff. You can check us out on Twitter at Honolulu Blues _. Check us out individually at Adam Stark, Everyday FFB for myself, Nick Faber. Did you change your name? Nick Faber 90?
Oh, what? I don't know why I put 90. NFL 90.
Yeah, I was confused. That threw me off. Nick Faber.
I think I may have been
NFL.
typing something. I was typing because I was trying to do research, and I think I just confused the two.
And then Julius at the fifth top.
NFL. Whoever
Fifth
Nick Faber 90 is, I hope he gets some followers for this because there's got to be one out there.
He exists, I guarantee.
I guarantee he's got to turn it. So
90.
I hope we're popping it for him, getting him a couple followers.
Hey, never know. All right, we will catch you guys all next week to probably follow up with this free agency episode, talk maybe some defensive free agents, and spoiler, J.C. Jackson might be not returning to New England. So if the Lions want to throw the bag at J.C. Jackson,
we'll get into that, I feel like, in our defensive free agent episode, but I do not want us to sign any cornerbacks this year. We got a plethora of them right now.
All right. I like it. All right. See you all next week.